What if the engine that built an entire tuning culture started life as a humble family car motor? In the mid-1990s, Volkswagen needed a new turbocharged four-cylinder, something modern, something efficient, something that could slot into a Golf, a Passat, an Audi A4, an Audi A3, a Seat Leon, and a Skoda Octavia without breaking the bank. They weren't trying to build a legend. They were trying to build a practical engine. But somewhere between the drawing board and the dyno, something happened that nobody fully anticipated. They built the most tunable four-cylinder engine of its generation. It was called the 1.8T. And depending on who you ask, it is either the engine that made a whole generation fall in love with modified cars, or the engine that introduced them to oil sludge, coil pack failures, and expensive repair bills. If you love the real engineering stories behind the cars people actually drive, subscribe to Das Auto Diaries right now, because today we're going deep on the 1.8T, where it came from, why it became a legend, and why it nearly burned its own reputation to the ground. Let's get into it. To understand the 1.8T, you have to understand what Volkswagen was working with in the early 1990s. The EA827 engine family had been carrying the group for over 2 decades. Solid, dependable, but aging. And as emissions legislation tightened and customer expectations evolved, Volkswagen needed something more sophisticated. The result was the EA113, a new engine architecture introduced in 1995 that would eventually spawn dozens of variants across the Volkswagen Group. And within that family, one variant stood above the rest: a 1.8-liter, turbocharged, 20-valve, 4-cylinder engine, 5 valves per cylinder, 3 intake, 2 exhaust. A small KK03 turbocharger spinning up boost from barely 1,800 revolutions per minute. A 20-valve cylinder head that breathed better than almost anything in its class. On paper, it was a tidy, modern piece of engineering. In reality, it would become something else entirely. The 1.8T debuted in production form in the 1994 Audi A4 B5, followed by the 1996 Audi A3, and later the Mark IV Golf GTI and first-generation Skoda Octavia. Power output started at 150 brake horsepower in standard trim. That climbed to 180 brake horsepower in sportier applications with the upgraded K03S turbo. And in the Audi S3 and Audi TT, a hotter version pushed all the way to 225 brake horsepower from the same basic 1.8-liter block. Same architecture, 3 very different personalities. And that flexibility, that remarkable range from everyday family transport to genuine hot hatch weapon, was what would eventually make the 1.8T famous. But first, the problems. Because the 1.8T had a weakness, a significant one, and it took Volkswagen the better part of a decade to fully acknowledge it. Oil sludge. Inside the engine, oil was circulating through tight passages around the turbocharger and cylinder head. In a turbocharged engine, this is a demanding environment. The turbo runs hot. The oil absorbs that heat, and when the engine is switched off with no oil circulation, the oil sitting in the turbo housing cooks. Over time, with certain driving conditions, extended oil change intervals, and use of non-synthetic oils, that cooked oil doesn't just degrade, it thickens, it congeals. It turns into a dark, viscous sludge that begins blocking the very passages it was supposed to lubricate. And there was another problem compounding this. The longitudinally mounted 1.8T, the version fitted to the Audi A4 and the Volkswagen Passat, had a smaller oil sump than its transversely mounted counterpart. Less oil capacity, less thermal buffer, more heat stress per liter of oil in the system. The result? In 2004, Volkswagen publicly acknowledged the problem. They were forced to write to 426,000 owners of 1998 to 2004 Passats and 1997 to 2004 Audi A4s, warning them of an engine oil sludge issue. Remedies range from extended warranties to complete engine replacements. The letter was careful to attribute the problem to owners not following oil change intervals or using the specified synthetic oils. And there was truth in that. Volkswagen had spec'd long oil change intervals that didn't suit the demands of a small, hot-running turbocharged engine. When owners followed those intervals to the letter, some still sludged. The real culprit was a combination of an undersized oil system, over-optimistic service intervals, and a turbocharger environment that punished anything less than perfect maintenance. The outcome was the same regardless. Blocked oil pickup screens, starved bearings, seized engines, forums documented case after case, owners who had followed the handbook, owners who had serviced their cars on time, at dealerships with the oil Volkswagen recommended, still sludged. And sludge wasn't the only problem. Ignition coil packs, the 1.8 T's coil packs, one per cylinder, had a well-documented failure rate. The symptoms were unmistakable. A misfire at idle, a stumble under load, a check engine light with a cylinder-specific fault code. In some cases, all four coils failed in relatively quick succession once one went. It became a routine maintenance item that should never have been routine. Enthusiasts started carrying a spare coil pack in their glove box the way you'd carry a spare fuse. And then there was the timing belt. Unlike its successor, the EA888, which used a chain, the 1.8T ran a rubber timing belt. It required replacement on a schedule, typically every 60,000 miles or so, along with the water pump and tensioners. Skip it or have it done badly. And on this interference engine, the consequences were identical to every other interference engine that loses timing. Bent valves, destroyed cylinder head, engine failure. Three distinct problems: oil sludge, coil packs, timing belt. In an engine that had been sold across hundreds of thousands of vehicles, across multiple brands, across multiple continents, it should have killed the 1.8 T's reputation entirely. It didn't, because the tuning world got hold of it. And what they found inside that 1.8-liter block defied every expectation. The bottom end of the 1.8 T was, by the standards of its time, extraordinarily strong. A forged steel crankshaft, robust connecting rods, an engine that had been built with enough structural integrity to handle far more than the factory had asked of it. And the turbocharger was the key. The K03 fitted to standard cars was conservative. Deliberately so, sized for reliability and low-end response rather than outright power. But swap it for the K03S from the 180 brake horsepower applications, and power climbed noticeably with just a software remap. Step up to the K04 turbocharger, a direct upgrade that required no cutting, no fabrication, no engine outwork on most applications, and the 1.8 T transformed into something completely different. Power outputs of 250 to 280 brake horsepower became reliably achievable with supporting bolt-on hardware and a proper remap. And that was just the beginning. Companies like APR, who would become one of the defining names in Volkswagen Group tuning, built their entire reputation on the 1.8 T platform. Stage 1 software upgrades, Stage 2 hardware packages, K04 conversion kits, full Stage 3 builds with larger turbochargers that pushed the engine well beyond anything the factory had contemplated. On the forum VW Vortex, which itself became one of the defining communities of early internet car culture, the 1.8 T was everywhere. Build threads, dyno results, heated debates about which turbo, which intercooler, which injectors. An entire ecosystem of knowledge, components, and community grew up around one engine. The Golf GTI Mark IV, the Audi TT, the Audi S3, the Jetta GLI, the new Beetle Turbo, all running variants of the same basic architecture, all part of the same conversation. And the engine rewarded the people who understood it, maintained properly, short oil change intervals, quality synthetic oil, a turbo timer or a proper cool-down period before shutting off. The 1.8 T proved genuinely durable at elevated power levels. Cars with well-maintained, properly built 1.8 T engines cleared 200,000 miles without drama. The engine that caused sludge nightmares in neglected Passats was powering 280 horsepower track builds in the hands of enthusiasts who knew what they were doing. The contradiction was real, and it defined the 1.8 terabytes legacy more than any single data point. Volkswagen's response to the sludge crisis, when it finally came, addressed the symptoms more than the cause. Extended warranties, service bulletins specifying shorter oil change intervals, and synthetic lubricants. A larger oil filter on affected applications to increase system capacity. But the 1.8T's production life was already winding down. By 2004, the 2.0 TFSY, also part of the EA113 family, now with direct injection, was arriving in the Mark V Golf GTI. By 2005, the 1.8T was largely gone from the Volkswagen lineup in Europe and North America. Its replacement eventually was the EA888, a more modern architecture, chain-driven, more powerful, more efficient. But something was lost in the transition. The EA888 is a better engine by almost every measurable metric, but the 1.8T had something that engineering specifications don't capture. It had character. It had an accessible entry point into real performance. A Stage 1 remap on a standard Golf GT 1.8T cost less than a weekend away and turned a sensible family hatchback into something that genuinely surprised faster cars on the road. That accessibility, that democratic performance, was the 1.8T's greatest gift to an entire generation of enthusiasts. So what is the 1.8T? Is it the engine that sludged up 426,000 cars and forced a public admission from one of the world's largest automakers? Or is it the engine that launched the European tuning scene, built the careers of a generation of aftermarket engineers, and turned a modest Volkswagen Golf into a genuine performance platform? Both, entirely both. The 1.8T represents something that no engineering specification sheet can fully explain. It was the right engine at the right moment, with just enough raw potential and just enough accessible weakness to create a community around fixing it and pushing it beyond its limits. It is not the most powerful engine Volkswagen ever built. It is not the most reliable. It is not the most technologically sophisticated. But it is the one that made people care about engines. That turned Saturday mornings into garage sessions. That filled forums with arguments about turbo sizing and oil weights and the merits of synthetic versus mineral lubricant. The engine that created enthusiasts. And in the history of Volkswagen, that might be the most valuable thing any engine has ever done. If you found this interesting, subscribe to Das Auto Diaries. Because the best engine stories are never just about the engineering. See you in the next one.